So we just had Gary Tunnicliffe, who worked on the majority of the sequels with the special effects and even directed one a few years ago for the Hellraiser franchise, and it got me revisiting the films because of that. And I wanted to do a video where I just kind of talked about the series, and instead of really ranking them, I thought it would be fun just to kind of explain my thought process a little bit and show you my DVD collection, which is really cool because I bought a lot of them from video stores and they were going out of business, and just tell you what I think is the ultimate and best Hellraiser film. So when it comes to the Hellraiser movies, the thing I love about this series the most is the memory I have of this first movie. When I saw the cover of this in the video store, my local video store, mind you, when I was a kid, that's the one that scared me the most. I remember seeing this artwork and being terrified by it. Thoughts of just dread, terror, and literal hell came through my mind before seeing this movie. And I think that's one thing that a lot of people my age or older than me that grew up with the video stores probably have. You see this and you envision this movie in your head before watching the movie. Your mind goes to some really dark places. I wouldn't be able to see this as a kid, obviously. My mom would never, ever allow me to rent this. And so after I became a horror fan back in 2008 or 9, I learned that there was a number of them, a number of sequels. And so I remember I was polishing them off. I got Hellraiser 1 on DVD, then I got 2, went to FYE and bought Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth. Then I bought 4. And then I'll never forget my video store, my Blockbuster was going out of business, and my movie gallery. And so I went and I bought Inferno. And what I love about these is these are like military-grade DVD cases. They are like, if I threw this and hit you in the head with it, it would hurt. So I got Inferno on DVD from Movie Gallery. I got Hellseeker. And again, again, these things are military grade. If I hit you with it, you would bleed. So I got Hellseeker. Then I went to my Blockbuster and I got Deader, Hellraiser Deader. And here you go. You can actually see on the inside the Blockbuster logo. And I thought that was it because there was no more Hellraisers at Blockbuster. But then I found out somebody actually bought the last Hellraiser at the time, Hellworld, excuse me. So I had to go to FYE and buy this one, and I got it for $12.99 used, guaranteed. So then I got Hellworld, Evil Goes Online. So I rewatched all of these, and before that I did Revelations as a gag on the podcast. And I actually had a good time with a lot of these. A lot of these are straight to video, just gutter trash, and there's no denying that I'm a fan of that in context. You know, I can enjoy some just like, you know, straight to video garbage. But what is the best Hellraiser film? Which one do I think is just the best one? Remember earlier when I told you that story about going to the video store and looking at the cover art and thinking about what the movie should have been or could have been in my head, and it was just terrifying. I envisioned just pure hell. When I watched the first Hellraiser, despite loving it and really enjoying the film, what was in my head was a little scarier. And you could argue that that's probably the case for a lot of movies we see. Fair enough. But I was always just a little underwhelmed because of the movie in my head and what would happen. Other movies like Hellraiser 3 I think are really, really fun. And on the podcast I talked about this movie gave me my love for the band Armored Saint. That band that's playing at the club, and you hear that song Hanging Judge playing, and that voice. John Bush has one of the greatest voices in that genre. This movie's really fun. I actually like Hell on Earth a lot. And some of them are really ambitious. Movies like Bloodline. There's some great stuff in Bloodline. There's a lot of mess, and Gary talked about the never-ending process with Kevin Yeager not really getting along with Bob Weinstein and this and that, and then Joe Chappelle coming in. But I think that this one's pretty ambitious. And some of these are kind of fun. Like, Hellraiser Deader. I think it's kind of fun. And even, Hellseeker's not one. And even Hellworld. Hellworld has a horrible reputation, rightfully so, but I still kind of laugh at this one. Me and my brother used to like watching this one. But when it comes to Hellraiser, one of them matched the movie that was in my head. And that was Hellbound. Hellbound is the only movie in my lifetime that when I pictured this movie in my head, and how nasty and gory a horror movie can be, Hellbound is the only one that's ever exceeded what was in my head. When I think of Hellraiser, I think of pure torture and pain. That's what Hellraiser, in my estimation, should be. Maybe this new one will do that, but Hellbound is brutal. Seeing the woman come out of the bed all bloody is something I'll never get out of my head. The first time I saw it, it ruined me. And then the guy who's cutting himself in the chest, and you just feel it, and the makeup effects are just disgusting. Hellbound, I think, is one of the greatest horror films of the 1980s, period. And in my estimation, it's not even close. This is far and away the best Hellraiser film. So I think Hellbound is it for me. But it was really fun going through the mainstay Hellraiser films and just kind of recollecting on them and giving my thoughts again. But it's got me wanting to ask you, the audience. Use the comments down below as some sort of a soundboard. I want to see what your thought processes are. What do you think is the best Hellraiser film and why? I always love it when you have memories attached from childhood and video store memories, so if you have any of those, I'd love to hear it. But for me, it's Hellbound. Maybe soon I'll kind of do reviews of some of these latter sequels, like I'd love to talk about Hellworld, but for today, I'll just put it right out there. Hellbound is one of the greatest horror films of the 1980s. Thank you for watching this. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you to all my supporters on Patreon. To get behind-the-scenes photos, videos, and music, you can subscribe to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month.